What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Triangle. This is your boy, D.
And it's your girl, CJ.
And I'm tired of President Trump.
Uh-oh.
And the Trump punks, also known as his supporters.
Oh.
And anybody that thinks that the Democratic Party is any better, I feel like they're all in bed with each other.
They're all terrible.
They're all the same shit.
Bipartisan.
Okay. Yes. Y'all new Tiger Twins.
We on it, D. We on it.
I'm not with the shit. And I am also one more thing before we get
there it is. Also.
Oh yeah, the high pitch. If anything ever happens to me, I'm Brandy, by the way. If you're a first time listener, if anything ever happens to me, burn the city to the motherfucking
hey,
all the way down to the ground.
I don't want to hear one person that's ever known me say, "Oh, this is not what she had wanted." Yes, this is what the fuck she wanted. I wanted my obituary like she wanted to smoke.
We have it on file, on film.
Listen,
so why do we still say on film? It's not on film. We have it recorded.
If you're my son, create up a hashtag. Burn the goddamn
film.
I mean, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you.
And I got y'all back too. It's on.
It's on.
Man. So today is our What the Fuck is Up with episode, and we decided to, obviously it's June now. So Juneteenth, Independence Day for the Black folks. Yeah.
We'll be having a party. Demetrius is going to do a flyer. It's going to be
We'll do an online party. We'll be asking people to join us. And this one, I think I'm actually going to keep it record like a timed thing so we can do it in a 1 hour party so we could just put it online for a bonus thing. Because the other ones were really long and I'm still editing those. I'm just they're like 5-6 hours long. I was like, I can't do
How
this.
are we on that long time?
I don't know, because we were drinking and having a good time for y'all's birthdays and shit.
That was a lot.
Even D's was like 4 hours or something.
I was just going to say, D's was pretty good too.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with Brandy.
Was that when Red went off on him, or?
No, that was
on your party.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Shout out to Red. We love you.
Oh God, one of the best moments.
But no, so today's episode is focused around what the fuck is up with Antifa, martial law, Black Lives Matter, all of that good stuff that's happening around the globe, actually, not just the nation now. It's global. When I saw the pictures of signs of people holding "fuck the police" in Japan,
in Tokyo,
in London,
that shit tripped me out. London, yeah.
Ooh, boy, I was like, hold up, because
talk about a global thing.
Yeah, well, you know, we've already covered on some of our other episodes where China was kicking African people out of their neighborhoods and evicting them.
Not too long ago, mind you.
You know, and it was only like a month ago. You know what I'm saying? And it's finally, I feel like we're up and running before everybody else starts reporting this shit. Maybe this should be our shit, man. I don't know. Maybe like ready. But like I'm just like flabbergasted that it took this long for other countries to realize that this has been going on for so long. Because, and I think Brandy, you said like on our news angle episode, like, you know, you can't deny the video of George Floyd's
you definitely
death.
Cannot deny this video.
9 minutes.
There was no ifs, ands, or buts about this one. This one was live and direct, up in your face. Old boy was kneeling in his neck for 9 fucking minutes.
It's a lot.
And it was awful because it was like it's awful timing in the sense of nobody should die like this. No, this should not be something that has to be publicized for it to basically prove our point. Like, it's sad that we have to go to this length. And then it's also perfect timing given everything that was happening with Ahmaud and people saying, oh, well, it was really this and not that.
Oh, man, those excuses. God.
All the excuses. So I'm like, okay, this is going to hold more weight and just run everything that's been happening the last couple months, really the last 10 years, to hold people accountable and to check them on their white privilege. And I'm here for all of it. I really am. I'm not going to make anybody feel bad. Although, like we said in the news angle, of course we don't want shit that people worked hard for to be destroyed, and
of course
they have to start over and not come back, or neighborhoods all fucked up, especially when they're neighborhoods and things of color. We don't want any of that. However, to me, what's more important is what's triggering this shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame victims in this. I'm not going to blame the oppressed. I'm looking at the oppressor, because there's a problem here.
And with that said, there's a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King that I came across that I've been saying to people and just drop it in on their comments and stuff. I won't even say anything anymore. I just drop it in and leave when they start talking about the looting and all of that stuff. But this speech was the Other America speech that he did on March 14th of 1968. 1968, okay? It should not be relevant this many years later.
Right.
It shouldn't. It just shouldn't. That means no real change has been made since the death of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and all those people.
I'm not going to put the people out there because they're close to me. Not that they even would listen to this.
Yeah. No, you're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
A married couple that got into it because she was saying, hey, nothing had changed. Mm-hmm. And he was like, how could you say that? And they're both of color. Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely more on the latter with her, like, nothing has changed. Now, granted, when I hear people say a lot has changed, I know they're coming from the side of we are not slaves in the same way that we were before.
No, so
even though slavery is still very much a thing to them, because we can drink out of the same water fountain and I can sit by you on the bus, things are a lot better. And Obama was in office, surely things are so much better. And it's like there are still so many fucked up things you don't realize and see when you're not operating. And I hate saying it like this, when you're not operating in a certain type of blackness, because I think his deal is you've been hanging out with so many white people in your tax bracket.
Girl.
And the higher you climb in certain corporations and ranks in the military and everything else, shit get wider and wider because that's where the power's at, right? Mm-hmm. So that's all you're used to. And then when you brush up against people like us, and we're like, no, that's not the reality of it. You don't know how to take it.
Yeah, unless you are working from the behind the scenes type of deal where you're like moving up and playing the game with the white people so that you can make a change when you get on top and be like, surprise, like Beyonce, like, surprise, I was black all the time.
The whole time.
The whole damn time.
She was black.
Wait a minute. What is
not
black?
Single lady.
This is Coachella. What is she doing? Like, that was some serious, what's up, fuck you. And then she put that shit on free for everybody to watch who didn't get to pay thousands of dollars to go to.
I know that's when I became a stan. Prior to that, I was like, she can sing her ass up on stage, but I was not like standing.
I wasn't standing her. I'm still not like stan, but I respect the shit out of her for doing it.
Up, CJ.
Oh no, don't let the Bayhive coming after us. I don't know.
No, it's Beehive. See,
I'm sorry, Beehive.
I trolled you on that too. I trolled you on that too.
I'm sorry. I have never claimed to be like perfectly black either, so just let me be.
Not perfectly black. You have to be perfectly black.
You kind of do in order to like survive this shit. You really do. Like people are like, why do you need to know so much? It's like Brandy pointed it out, and I never really thought about it until Brandy said it's I had to learn all of this shit from both ends so that I could survive not being black enough. That's what it was. Like, and not being Asian enough. You
yourself all the time. Like, I am black, although I'll never be pig feet black. Sorry.
I still can't cornrow very well. I can do it.
I can't either. And I can't play spades. Sorry.
I'm not very good at it either. So, I
don't like chitlins.
Same.
I can do the chitlins and the pig's feet and all that. We eat that
shit
Okinawan.
I was just trying to say, what the hell is wrong with you?
Okinawans eat that anyway. So with that said, like the Other America speech, the part that I was talking about, I'm gonna go ahead and read it because those words are like perfect still. So what he said was, "It is not enough for me to stand before you tonight and condemn riots. It would be morally irresponsible for me to do that without, at the same time, condemning the contingent, intolerable conditions that exist in our society. These conditions are the things that cause individuals to feel that they have no other alternative than to engage in violent rebellions to get attention. And I must say tonight that a riot is the language of the unheard, and I could not agree with him more." Like, people are like, well, CJ, they're looting and taking shit. I know. It's fucked up. That part is fucked up.
The first fucking thing they want to do is throw up a fucking picture of Martin Luther King, which is why I'm so glad that you take that quote coming from Dr. Martin Luther King and throwing that shit back in their fucking faces. They don't know that part of it. All they see is them walking down the street holding hands, kumbaya, but they didn't know, not even an hour after that fucking photo was taken, what the fuck happened.
Yep.
They don't talk about that part.
Oh,
they don't educate nobody about that shit.
Listen, people don't.
That's why I can't get with it, because I'm like, I could see the benefits of anybody having a peaceful protest, but when you're trying to do anything and you're still not getting the result, naturally you do the opposite. Like, okay, you're not rocking with this, well, shit. Now we got to do something else. But like you said, people like to cherry pick, especially when they want people of color to stay in line and be a certain way. Then it's like, okay, we want y'all to be more like Dr. King in the ways we want you to be. Meanwhile, I'm like, do y'all know he was actually kind of rethinking half the shit he was talking about even before
him and Malcolm X was on the same path.
Listen, literally the same path. It's like, you know what? Maybe this, ain't the move. Maybe trying to like have everybody kumbaya together. Maybe we can rethink even separate but equal.
Maybe we could rethink it, because look at what's happening right now with all the motherfuckers. Motherfuckers been taking a knee, and look what happened.
Yeah.
They don't want people taking knees. They don't want people blocking traffic. They don't want people doing that shit.
For taking knees.
Crazy shit like that.
Because all of a sudden,
if y'all got to sit back and watch some shit burn the fuck down, that's where the fuck we are now.
That's
because y'all let it get to this fucking point. Because we were doing those fucking protests and shit, the peaceful ones, y'all didn't want that shit.
Nope, they showed
what the fuck y'all
wish for. But y'all wish for a knee now, huh?
That's what I'm saying. We wishing for a fucking knee. Y'all had the knees back then.
Well,
but this is where the fuck we are now.
Yep.
And it's not our doing. That's your fucking doing. I'm not talking about white people in general. I'm talking about those ones. And those ones know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then
so I don't want to see no bullshit in the fucking comment section.
Well,
talk about nobody being no motherfucking racist. Y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
We gonna see it and we're gonna play to it.
Bring the bullshit on. Bring the bullshit on.
Let's do it.
You're proving our point. You're proving our point. So bring it on.
Dude, just like that lady who was talking to me about all the things that she was trying to do, right? The minute everything went out the window, the minute she said, I'm white, I was in the wrong neighborhood and I got beat up by black people. It went out the window because I know you just made that shit up.
I'm being born in the wrong fucking country, dude. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I shouldn't assume, but more than likely, it's like how white people say, I have a black friend, but your black friend.
It's literally the
what that sounds like? It sounds like all lives matter to me. That's what it sounds like. That's what the fuck. It's a rebuttal, is what it is.
It really
is. It doesn't mean anything. Right. Anything to be right. It's
anything to be right. Anything to be, they do it, but we've noticed that with the crimes, where it's like, oh, that guy had a past, and did you know he did this? And that it's like anything to be like, we deserve to be jailed and raped and killed and treated differently because of how we look.
And I was telling Rob about the lady, and because if you don't know the backstory, we do have it on the highlights. It's called Story Time on the Triangl's Instagram highlights reel right there. You could go check it out if you're bored. I know you ain't doing nothing if you're still under quarantine, so go read it. No, right? But so it's just me and this lady going back and forth. I hid her identity because I'm not like that. She actually sought me out later to come back and have a second conversation, which is like crazy as fuck. I don't even understand that shit. But anyway, I think that the fact that she had to come and rescue this other person, because initially another white lady got so offended and sad and hurt that I unfriended her on fucking Facebook. Like, we're grown, right? And these two girls are like older than me. They're women. They're older than me. I'm pretty sure they're in their 40s or maybe closer to 50, one of them. And so one ran to the other woman, and that other woman was like, hey, for your information, you hurt her feelings. I was like, what the fuck is this, Mean Girls? Shit. What the fuck is this?
That's that fucking feeling shit.
Right.
Get the fuck up out your feelings.
I don't give a fuck.
Because you know who else had their fucking feelings hurt?
These folks.
Other motherfuckers, the fucking victims and their families. That's whose fucking feelings are hurt. But you're mad because somebody had a fucking opinion and you don't agree with the shit?
If you never cried,
agree with the opinion.
Like, you ain't got to agree. Exactly. You ain't got to agree, but you ain't about to come in my fucking inbox and personally try to attack me and try to tell me that I hurt somebody's fucking feelings. And these bitches were like, but she's your friend. I'm like, and I know you're not that invested because she's like Rob's old friend. I was like, y'all ain't been around to my house. You never been set foot. We never broke bread together. I've met you less than 5 times, total of 10 between the two of y'all, maybe. Okay, so y'all ain't even like acquaintances. So I don't understand why you thought I gave a fuck.
Why did they put that pressure on you?
Because they was hurt. This is what I talk.
No. It ain't just because they was hurt.
Well, again, also because they don't see me as equal.
And on top of that, they are conditioned, like many white people are, where people are supposed to cater to your feelings, especially white women. Especially white women. You know, they're the ones that are to be protected. And when they say something, you believe them and easily offended. It's like, okay, so we can literally die. And we're not supposed to feel away. But get to feel away because we have an opinion that's different from yours.
It's like I told her, because she was like, well, because I threw it back at her because she was like, well, you hurt my friend's feeling, basically. Where I was like, all right, cool. Like, you're calling up, because she was like somewhere along the line in the conversation. She was like, we've had our tussles, but we've been friends in real life. I said, okay, we've been friends. I was like, at what point of this conversation did you ask me why I had said what I said to her? At what point did you ask my side of the story? You never did, because you didn't give a fuck. You came in here as Captain Save-A-Ho, as Dee puts it, and thought that you were going to like whoop my ass verbally. I'm not the one. You got the right bitch today. I have time and I got words. I got a mouth. I'm terrible at this. This is why I don't have conversations that are mean, because I had diarrhea of the mouth and my fingers can type super fast when I'm upset. So I'm not even sure that I'm like mad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I'm upset. I think that I'm very disappointed that I'm not even disappointed. That's not even the word. I have been proven right again. I think that's the right thing to say.
No, you're right about that, because there was a meme I like to post when it was like talking about, here I am again, disappointed with men, but not surprised. And I just love this phrase now across the board. Like, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised.
I'm disappointed.
We've been seeing from people that we know, from people that we don't, either underneath our own podcast pages or in our inbox or with friends. The fact that this is polarizing is disappointing, but I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised at all. One of my Okie friends was like, why would you what did she say? Something along the right lines of, you know, I can't believe you would like lose a friendship over this. And I was like, what? I was like, literally, my post literally said, unfriend me if you're not into this. I was like, all of y'all who are arguing with me completely ignored that part of my post. I really didn't give a fuck
and then
whether you liked it or not.
With her, because if you're really somebody's friend,
well, so
them up separately, and then
I laid down my, you know, my 20 points, because that's how I get, you know. And then all she could say to me was, I just can't, CJ. Have a nice life. I was like, that's cool. That was the whole point of my post. That was the point of my post, though. If you don't agree, if you think that looting is worse than the lives that are being lost, go ahead and unfriend me, was the post that I had made. These people are time and time again proving my motherfucking points. And I'm okay with it, because now I know who's who. I've been knowing some of them was who's who, but now it's like concrete. And my life is going to be much better, because there will be more positive energy and less negative coming from the people who want to see me fail. So that's all I got. You know what I'm saying?
And when we see this over and over again in our generation and the younger one, it's like, this is clearly a generational thing, and it's passed down. And it may not be passed down in the same form that we were used to and seeing in the movie Roots or whatever, but it's the same seed being planted over and over again.
Yeah.
And the fact that people act like they can't see it, or they're so quick to be like, y'all are playing victims, you're making everything about race. I'm definitely going to, when this country was built on the back of racism, and our ancestors, hell yeah, we gonna make this about race. Why wouldn't we?
I mean, if we took that part out, then there wouldn't have been an issue. That's the part.
It would be an inaccurate representation of the history of this country if you were to omit that part.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Have some fucking you know what I'm saying? People, it's denial is what it is. It boils down to denial. People don't want to believe that this is what it was and this is how it still is. People don't want to believe that. They want to still go with this illusion that, oh, everybody is equal, when that's not the case. And the fact that they realize now that it's not the case, it's scary. It's a hard fucking pill to swallow. But sweeping the shit up under the rug is not going to make the shit go away.
It's not.
It's not. And that's why you have very young, angry white people on the streets protesting just as hard as the black folks, because they realize that they were fucking lied to and they're pissed off about it. They are very pissed off about it because they're able to see firsthand. They don't have as many influences, cultural influences, because they're very fresh to this world. Shit is still new to them. So they see the shit for what the fuck it is. And they're very pissed off too. Because the shit that they're being taught at home and at school is bullshit.
It is. It's bullshit. I tell my kids all the time, if you want to learn more shit, you're going to have to do your own research. It's like, I was like really surprised to see that article about all the Amish people coming out to protest too, because they're never protesting shit.
No, I was like, they got their own. They gotta go home and tend to their fucking cattle and shit. They ain't got time. they gotta grow.
They made time for this. They made time for this.
You know what I'm saying? They gotta go make wooden furniture and shit. They got shit to do.
Those fucking heater warmer things that you see in the middle of the night.
Made by the Amish.
We love y'all. We love y'all.
We love y'all.
We definitely do. I'm out here in Amish country, so I'm gonna be quiet. Like, I love y'all. Amish mom, don't come for me.
They made time for that.
But so, like, with the protests and the looting and stuff, like, I really want to get into this with this episode. The looting is not necessarily the people who are protesting peacefully. It is a lot of other groups of people. I think we talked about Ferguson, like Baltimore stuff too, 5 years ago, where Antifa was there, Soros's hired hands were there, and things like that. So if you don't know what Antifa is, it's actually like an autonomous like movement of people. It's not actually a group per se, but the whole idea and like the movement's been around since the 1930s. A lot of people don't know that they're that long too. That's 90 years already. They're about to be a century old here soon. But Antifa actually stands for the Anti-Fascist Action. So they're all about like smashing fascism. That's such a hard word for me to say. I don't know. Fascism. And then
Fascism Club.
Yeah, and they want to abolish capitalism. My agent is showing. This is really hard. Like English is so much harder when I'm like emotional. Let me put it that way. When I'm like having a hard time creating words in English, it's because it is messing with me emotionally.
CJ's fired up.
I really am. I'm trying not to like go there, but Jesus Christ, there's some like I can't even watch the video of George Floyd. I can't do it.
No,
I saw the picture, and that's all I needed to see was the picture. No. That's it.
I just saw the before and after.
I didn't watch the thing with Ahmad. I didn't even want to see the
I didn't either.
I haven't even watched When They See Us. I'm like, this is too real for me.
But do you see that all of us are like, we can't even watch the videos because we have already watched so many videos prior to this. We know what's going on. And finally, we have one where everybody can watch the whole 15-minute long situation from beginning to end, because one of the store fucking keepers were like, fuck the police. We're not giving them the fucking tape. We're giving it to the fucking, private media who like fucking leaked it everywhere. And people finally got to see an unedited version of what fucking went down. That's the only reason why we're here now. You know what I'm saying? So, but like the Antifa people, let me go back before I get fucking heated up again. So I'm not sure if the people who are listening to this or watching our podcast know this, but a lot of these protest cities, a lot of people have been recording and tweeting that there has been wooden pallets up against buildings and businesses, bricks along the side of the roads in front of homes and businesses, like before the protest starts. That means somebody is busing in or trucking in all these things in different city, because Brandy said she heard about it. You said you heard about it.
Yeah.
My friend got an actual video from somebody who lives in Dallas that sent it to her and was like, he lives in the neighborhood and was like, what the fuck are these bricks doing out in the streets? And turns out
3 fucking cities across the America.
At least 3.
Just our 3 cities.
And then so I'm sure if I do the research, every fucking city probably has something similar.
Every major city, I'm sure.
That means there's hired hand or a group with a movement in mind, which is Antifa. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, who are trying to cause more suffering and pain and all of that than there already is, because their mission is to overthrow the government at any means possible. You know what I'm saying? They're not looking to have a conversation either, but they never have. That they're a whole nother ideology. It's different from what black people and brown people and people of color are trying to fight for.
Now something I thought about before, just to take it out there, since this is our What the Fuck episode, you know, we've all done our own rabbit hole research and seen and found out that so many things are linked together and so many different companies are just like in bed together. Do you ever feel like sometimes, I know this sounds crazy, but do you ever feel like sometimes we're kind of like in a Truman Show-esque world where it's like, what if you guys are just putting this in place just to see how we react?
Yes.
What if you guys created this group that's been around for almost 100 years and you're just trying to see what the people will do? What if you're just placing?
I don't know, Brandy. You tell me.
Well,
and then like someone knocks on my door and you guys never see me again.
She'd just be like,
like my wig just dropped.
Oh no, but I mean, so the thing is, like, let's, you know, Event 201 that just happened in October of last year. Oh my God, D, you okay? D, I don't know.
Because you said they snatched you, did you see a wig fall? Like.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't. But no, like, so Event 201 that happened in October of last year with Bill Gates and a whole bunch of head medical companies and things like that, who talked about a situation such as a global pandemic. How would people react, and how would the government have to react? So now we're sitting in it 8 months later.
That Obama laid out a plan, like, yeah, just in case this happens, also known as this shit's about to happen.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes my mind just goes so far left. I'm like, shit, maybe.
No, I don't think that's so far left. I really don't think that's something that you think that I would think was so far out of control. I really think that things have been planned and planted, and there's a reason for all of this. And
that's why I think people need to reevaluate what they say they are and what political ideologies they hold on to and everything else. Because I'm like, I feel like all this shit sometimes is just made up to control us in a way that they want to experiment with the social scene the way they want, to get rid of a certain amount of people the way they want. That way their hands aren't really dirty, but it's just playing off of people's fears, playing off of things that they've already instituted for years. It's just so hard not to think that way when you know some of the shit that we know.
I mean, I'm just saying, so I don't know if anybody else noticed, is like, for example, up until all of this was happening, if you looked up at the sky at any given time, 90% of the time you could see chemtrails.
Chemtrails in every fucking city.
Right?
I've been
they're gone, right? You guys noticed that, right?
No, CJ, you did. Did you notice that?
I noticed though. You noticed that, right? So there are no, like, tomorrow, if you're out and about, go look. There are no chemtrails. Go look for a few days in a row and let me know.
If somebody's listening, let us know if you like write in the comments. Let us know if you see.
Yeah, let us know if you see chemtrails or not.
Because I have not seen any in my neck of the woods in weeks. And then I'm sure somebody will come out, well, that's because nobody's been driving. That has nothing to do with the fucking chemtrails. It's how many thousand feet up in the air? Y'all are tripping. It has nothing to do with the vehicles.
Oh, no, chemtrails come directly out of the airplane.
Yes, they do. So, like, chemtrails aren't happening. There's a lot more roadkill on the streets because nature was like, shit, are we about to take the planet back? Psych, we're back working.
Yeah.
And things like that. You know what I'm saying? But to what Brandy was saying, so they instilled fear in people, right? By doing the whole CV thing, because it's a man-made virus. It has to be. It's a hybrid. It's two different kinds that are put together. They call it recombination, but it rarely happens in nature, I don't think, in that way, where it can be manipulated so far into 30 different strains.
In order for it to be manipulated, it doesn't happen naturally that fast. You know what I'm saying?
That part. It shouldn't be overnight. And then for them to have information control and censorship is the next thing that they're doing right now. Because look at how many posts that we post that are just memes. They're like, this is partially fake. They're fact checking everything.
Oh, and I know more people now than ever who are in the Facebook jail. Or they're getting warnings.
Oh my God, fucking our boy Grant was in Facebook jail. Welcome Facebook back jail. Out.
And I'm just like, right. I'm like, they lock up people quick now. You'll get a quick warning, or you'll just be done for 30 days, I think it is. So I'm like, they are really on some shit.
I thought I was going to be in it too.
Let me tell you what happened to me.
What?
Let me tell you what happened to me. I have my original Facebook from when Facebook, but my Facebook is so old. My Facebook account is from when you had to have a college account.
College?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah. I had an original Facebook.
Right.
So my Facebook account, I deactivated and I had a new one. I had an old one I deactivated because it was too much bullshit with drama back in the day.
Right.
I reactivate it from time to time, maybe steal some old pictures from it, do TBT posts or whatever, and I deactivate it. I tried to log back in, I want to say 2 weeks ago. I couldn't log in. It said I had the incorrect password. So I was like, that's weird. Had the same password for, I don't know, 15 fucking years.
Right.
So let me reset it. Send it to my email to have it reset. And they tell me, okay, successful. You have 2 ways of unlocking.
Right.
Email. Either send a message to these 2 people, or it was going to be 2 people out of a list of, I want to say, they only gave me 5 choices, 5 friends. People that I don't even fucking talk to anymore.
Really?
We're going to send them messages to verify your identity, or you can scan a copy of your fucking driver's license.
Oh, absolutely not.
What?
And we'll unlock your account. So I was like, fuck that account. Y'all can have that shit.
You mean
and I just won't worry about the shit. What the fuck do you want my driver's license for?
It's probably easier to get back into MySpace than that shit.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm sure.
Tom would never.
Like,
Tom would never.
Yes, DJ. Tom would never.
Oh shit! I should make a shirt that says that. Tom would never.
Tom would never.
But the fact that they wanted my fucking ID. But here's the kicker: my name on my Facebook does not match the name on my ID, of course, because
so how
that's
is
what the fuck I want. I don't fucking know. So I later found out that Facebook only wants you to go by your real government name. I said, fuck you.
Nope.
Y'all can have that account. And I'm going to keep my current account the way it is.
I'm about to change my last name on that bitch too. I mean, so like, but with all of that, because they're, you know, the censoring, the changing the way they do social media and stuff, now we've gotten to the place of shutting down the country. Right. So now people are without money and resources in a lot of places. There's social distancing. So there's some connections being severed. Businesses are going out
and not coming back.
Yeah.
Dude, me and Rob drove by this, our street over here. And there was this, it was a new restaurant that had opened, I don't know, a year ago or something. It was a Middle Eastern place. We were like, we got to try it. And then I drove by. I was like, fucking gut it out. They were gone. They didn't even make it through the 2 months. People are not making it.
Listen, me and a girlfriend, we were joking that a lot of these businesses were living paycheck to paycheck, like a lot of Americans.
They were.
Because I'm like, how could y'all not survive 3 months? Now, I'll give it to the local mom and pops and kind of obscure places, right? But I'm just like, when you got whole ass places that are in jeopardy right now, possibly never coming back, and I'm talking about they saying Chili's, Applebee's, Dave & Buster's.
Because those are franchises. They're still small. People don't realize they're franchises. And so when you're a franchise, you are still a business owner of that particular building, right? So if you're a franchise owner of, let's say, Chick-fil-A, everybody loves Chick-fil-A. If you're a franchise owner and your place is not making enough money, you're going to have to start letting employees go. If you start letting employees go, then you're going to have less success with the customers that are coming in. If you have less success with the customers, your ratings go down. If your rating goes down, more people stop coming. More people stop coming. You got to shut this shit down.
You got to shut down.
And so since there was no revenue being made for any of these people, they just couldn't pay their employees. When they said the 25% capacity they could open last month, remember I said, that's not enough to open up most places that are owned by small people.
It's even sad to how I never paid attention to this until I got here to Cleveland, and when LeBron left and came back, and I just got to see the economic, impact that had. So
of
then
course.
I understood more what that meant and why so many people here were burning jerseys and acting a fool. Because the first time these fans are butthurt. But when you live in the city and you see the changes and job opportunities that happen, now when stuff like this is happening, I'm like, this is bigger than just places shutting down. You don't want your city to end up like Detroit, where no one's even coming to live there because there's nothing to do, there's nothing to see.
Other than that,
we're gonna have fucking ghost towns.
I mean, so
the United States.
It's like in Okie when they always fight over whether the base should stay or not, and then you have half the Okie people like, we need the bases to survive. Our businesses count on the military people and their families to come shop or eat in our restaurants or our shops. You know what I'm saying?
Not to mention all the Okie people that work on base.
That's my other thing. Like, I worked at the BX, and when I was one of the supervisors, I literally, all of my employees were the fucking locals, like us. It was my locals. Like, I don't know what people don't understand about that shit, because they only see the smaller picture of what they want to see, like right there. You know, it's tunnel vision. But on that note, we're gonna take a quick break and finish this up real quick, because I want to talk about like the whole martial law thing and harnessing energy from what's happening right now. So we'll be right back.
And we're back.
Okay, so I just dropped everything. Oh my god.
Right. Making a mess.
Now I'm gonna go
my
notes.
Come back, notes. Hold on.
Time to burn down Target.
CJ's dropping shit. CJ's dropping shit.
I'm done. Oh my god. I was like, what is happening here? No, for real though. It's been crazy, obviously, like we talked in the first half about. The other thing is that I just wanted to say, like, I feel like the steps are being taken to make sure that there's negative energy in the air for whatever they're about to do. And I'm really like trying to be like, do I need to sage my motherfucking house this week because the strawberry moon is coming up? You know, that sounds all witchy and crazy and shit, but I feel that way because if you think about if you think about the alignment of all the things that are happening this year, like, and the number 20 is one of those numbers that they use, and I don't want to say their name because I don't want to get banned. That's another thing. Why we get banned from fucking YouTube if we use like names like the Natty Nat Nat or like
Natty Nat Nat.
The Natty Nat Nat.
That's the shit that I know exactly what the fuck that is.
Let's just keep saying it.
The Natty Nat Nat. I know, or like the Pasta Gate, not really pasta, but related.
Yeah,
like
pasta. Yeah.
The Pasta Gate. If you say the actual word, they fucking like demonetize, and like we're not monetized at all, but they demonetize like YouTube channels. You can't just type in Pasta Gate anymore and pull up videos anymore. It's at the very end. You know what I'm saying? Remember when we
were doing with trying to have like people not find information, trying to not have certain like-minded people link up with stuff. Like,
for sure.
Makes sense.
I don't know. And I just feel like them creating so many riots. They're creating these riots too, because the Antifa situation, because if it was just a peaceful protest, then it would just be a peaceful protest.
And then that's what makes me think it's like a social experiment, because it's like, it's almost like you're messing with lab rats. Like, okay, we already create type of energy. Let's just see what happens if we just place a brick, or what happens if we just place a gun here, and let's just see what they do. It really reminds me of like what Jigsaw was doing.
Oh God!
You place certain people and stuff. And the traps aside, what would always get me about those earlier movies, not when they kept getting crazy.
Yeah, the first couple,
like the first three, was kind of like, I'm just gonna see what you do when you're running high off emotions. Because a lot of these people could have made it out of situations alive. Like the second one, when the guy found his son was in the safe inside of the police station the whole time. Spoiler alert.
Oh, no.
And he went around doing the most and ended up getting himself killed and everything. And his son was literally what Jigsaw said. He's safe. And he literally was inside of a safe. So I kind of feel like there are some elites, whatever people want to call them or refer to them to, the powers that be are fucking with us.
I do.
And social media and what you can research and who you can link with, and
for sure,
all that.
But
stuff.
I feel like like they're all leading to like harnessing energy of some kind. They also have now so far made sure that President Trump will be blamed for everything. Remember when I was talking about that shit? I was like, Trump is not smart enough to make this happen on his own. He's just another pawn in the whole situation.
I mean, I feel like every president is. So we.
Absolutely. But I think they found somebody who is a throwaway. And I'm waiting to see if that extra Simpsons episode is going to be real, where he's laying in a casket. Remember that shit? It's an online only episode, but there is one that the Simpsons wrote where Trump is in a casket. If I find the picture, I'll show it to you guys later. But you got that going. So now the riots are causing geared policemen and National Guards to be out and about. So they may not call it what it is, but I think we said martial law is on the way, right? Mm-hmm. And so now there's all these businesses that are closed, not just empty Walmarts, but empty buildings where they can keep people put up, you know?
On top of, like Demetrius was saying in our News Angle episode, just these, bam, random curfews or else you are jailed. And and Trump recently basically saying, hey, disperse the military and extra police folks out everywhere. It's very real in the field right now, which is crazy, perfect timing mixed with this coronavirus. Like,
man,
mixed with election year. It's all right on time.
It's always
right on. Okay, you better say it.
Right on time.
We say it every time. That election year, boy.
I mean, but it's
better luck next time.
Oh, no. I cannot stand you.
If it wasn't for you. Right.
You meddling brat. I mean, and then, you know, the last portion of it for now, I really do think is that they're going to, because they have been talking about the vaccine in every fucking country, like hardcore. This mandatory vaccine situation might be happening. And if it's mandatory, I feel like a lot of people are going to go homeschool. You know what I mean?
You already know.
They're already talking about it right now because they don't want to deal with having to have kids go to school 2 days a week and then the rest be off in our neck of the woods. So I'm not surprised, but you know, and also I know we touched on it on our news angle, but these protests during the pandemic, like Randy was saying and Dee was saying, that means that people who have the virus are still out protesting whether they know it or not. You know, so there might be a lot of people out there who are asymptomatic and just being, you know, supportive of what's happening, but instead of being able to help, they're just spreading the virus. Like, I don't know what to think in like the next 2 weeks. If the infection rate goes up, they actually had a hand in that.
If they are still even reporting the shit next week.
Part.
Well, so the data on the pandemic reports are fucked up right now, right? So even in Japan, I think we posted it. I borrowed it from Patrick. Shout out to Patrick. He let me use it. No last names though, but he was like, Japan just announced on TV, they were like, they were missing information from certain people who were infected because they were using fucking fax machines and shit. You know what I'm saying? China been lying about their numbers. I ain't seen their fucking needle move in weeks and weeks and weeks. And the US are trying to go backwards on some of the, I guess, the cases and saying that, oh, it wasn't the virus, it's something else. I was like, okay, that's fine, but are you about to give people who needed the insurance money, then are you going to backtrack and fix their death certificates as well, or are you just going to change the numbers? You know what I'm saying?
Some of these families need help.
So it's kind of like it's a mixture of things. Obviously, it's always going to be like that, but I feel like people are really going to see like some of the worst things come out of humanity in the next few weeks maybe. And you know, the other part of it is, I feel like, this is just my personal opinion, obviously, I feel like they opened the country back up because, you know, we were talking about how everybody was bankrupt. That's why D's not getting his fucking money right now. Nobody is getting money anymore from...
I got my first unemployment check.
Yeah, but look at how long it took.
6 weeks.
Like 2 years.
6 weeks, you know, in
6 weeks. And I had to spend my savings in the meantime for everything.
I mean, you know, that's
so I have no savings left. And I have to move soon. So I'm like,
oh shit.
The fuck? Yeah.
And that's crazy. A crazy ass situation. And he had savings account.
Right.
I had savings.
Well, I mean, good thing you did, because that's what it's for. I mean, I understand it sucks to have to go to there, but that's exactly why you need a little bit of fishing.
That, and then it's like, damn, we in a situation economically where it's like,
yeah.
How am I gonna, shout out to Tiger King. I'm never gonna financially recover from this. That was a quote he said.
Yeah, that's the COVID anthem. That was a 2020 anthem. We're never gonna financially recover.
I'm never gonna financially recover. Someone put it on a debit card, and that's like
Carol Baskins. Just, I mean, like, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. But no, like, I feel like, so the next step is gonna be vaccines, right? And then after that, then what? Is it going to be all of the AI shit that's going to come into play because everybody's at home, so they need, is it going to be like the WALL-E situation? And we're going to be just so fucking zombied out? Not like sick zombie, not like Walking Dead zombie, like zombied out.
Like a survival of the, like, fittest mentally. Because,
it is.
You know, and not that it's not, you know, wise to take care of your body, because that's smart too, because that does help with your mind.
Yeah, your gut is where everything starts.
All
so
together, but I definitely think the mentally strong are going to be the ones that survive this, because what I have been not like concerned about, like I'm losing sleep, but it's something I've thought about. Of course, the kids aren't in school. People aren't out as much. We don't have like a lot of these back-to-back mass shootings, mass stabbings, all this stuff. So I'm wondering about those people that do these things, even if they are like sleeper cell agent people that do.
Why did somebody bring that up?
Sitting around doing right now. You know what I mean? Like,
speaking of sleeper cells and shit like that, you know, people are now talking about that fucking black person prosthetics thing that was up and running a few years ago. Okay, so if you don't know what we're talking about, so there are like non-black people, mainly white people, going out and getting like the prosthetics that are full body, kind of like, think of like the Wayne brothers doing White Chicks when they put on all of that. They're doing this where you can buy arms and legs too now, because, you know, it's easy to do makeup stuff like that. And it looks so real that one time this lady thought it was her own son that robbed this place when it was some white dude in a black person prosthetic. Like, that's how good these are made. And so now I'm trying to figure out if some of these riots and looters that make it look like black people or brown people are doing it are not in prosthetics as well, because we already saw the mystery guy who was breaking the windows of AutoZone ended up being a police officer that was recognized by his ex-wife when somebody took a picture of him and sent it to her and asked her if it was him. He's on the force in Minnesota. Like, he's breaking the AutoZone windows and then trying to create a looting riot situation when there wasn't one to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
It is. And so now, how many of these riots are created by Antifa and people who are in black person prosthetics, or cops that are running undercover, and Soros hired people that are not even us, that want to protest for the lives that we care about? They're just making a scene so that we look crazy again. That's what they're doing.
We look crazy, and then they get their agenda accomplished.
Done.
At the end of the day.
Done.
And even just for funsies, even if it was only us looting and polluting,
I still wouldn't be mad.
And doing all that, not only would I still not be mad, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the other side has to change and get their shit together.
Of course. Right. Because they like,
there's a cause and effect. Let's get to the cause, like get to the root cause of it, and stop putting a Band-Aid on shit that needs surgery. And this country has an issue with race, always has, and it needs surgery. It needs a complete revamp.
It's global.
Every field.
It's
in
global.
Almost every field of life, it needs to happen. Entertainment industry, politically, like everywhere, it needs to
Once
stop.
that surgery is performed, the same group of motherfuckers is gonna have the same shit to say. Look at what happened when they tried to do some shit about something like with affirmative action, for instance.
Well,
now motherfuckers talk about taking handouts and shit. Oh, you didn't deserve anything you get. So now, even in situations where you busted your ass and worked hard for some shit, motherfuckers are pointing at affirmative action, saying that you got some shit that you didn't deserve. So even if you have, what's that?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying even if you have people that are busting their asses outside of that, you can never escape that. No. Because somebody's always going to be willing to throw that into your face. Because at the end of the day, the people that are making those comments will always feel that you are subpar. And then if you got that position, that means that there was somebody else who was white that was better than you, regardless.
So remember that story I always tell where the guy in the hallway at Flying J telling me that I was the lighter black person? That's why I got the job.
And that's why you got what you got? Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, like, people, I know there's like Brandy said, like, you know, there's a lot of unapologetically black brothers and sisters who probably hear my shit and like, CJ, you're crazy. You're so fucking light. Like, I know I'm never going to feel what you're feeling because I'm not even halfway there with y'all. But I'm telling you, like, they don't give a fuck. We just brown and black people to them. That's it. That's it. We in this together. Either we in it together or we not.
You know, I always say we're the only ones, well, not only ones, because I know it's in other cultures too, but it seems like we really hype up babies and people that end up looking like CJ that are mixed and they have the good hair. But I'm like, I don't ever hear white people talking about mixed babies and good hair and none of that shit. But you're not hyping that shit up like.
Well, I had to stop one of my girlfriends who is actually black, and I was like, girl, you can't be saying that. Like, you know, they'll be like, oh, you and Rob are gonna make cute babies. Yes, we know that, but that's not how she meant it. You know what I mean? She meant like, oh, you guys are gonna have mixed kids. Like, they're gonna be so beautiful.
That means they're automatically cute.
Right.
Look at Drake's baby.
Oh, y'all are so mean. Stop it. Leave Drake baby alone.
That'll tell you something else. Not everything makes this cute.
But you know what I'm saying?
Shut the fuck up with that shit, because the proof is all the way up in that pudding.
Wait a minute. Let me get that Drake baby hair.
Oh, no.
Right? The baby's going to grow up to be very handsome because ugly babies always do.
Oh, no.
But right now, in that stage of that baby's life, nah.
D is just going in hard. I really do like appreciate when I can't, D. I can't. These niggas. I can't.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said what I said. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. We stupid. I can't. But I can't even think what I was thinking. But the funniest thing though, I found this picture that somebody had taken a picture of the cop. I want you guys to see this. Just see it, and I'll explain it in words so people who are listening can see it. Do you see this person?
Love it. That's my favorite one.
So that is a police officer holding 2, 4, 6. It looks like maybe about 8 boxes of Nike shoes and putting it in his trunk while everybody else is looting around him at the store.
So Toby, if you're watching, one of my colleagues, Toby, he left a comment on my page and said, it was in the what's his name from Rush Hour?
Chris Rock? Jackie Chan?
Chris Rock.
Who?
We don't all look alike. CJ.
Chris Tucker. I'm sorry.
Chris Tucker. He said,
I knew it was one of the Chris's.
Chris Tucker voice. We taking this in for evidence. No, good and damn well, that shit's going straight to your motherfucking house. Thanks for that one, Toby. That would have me. You almost made me crash because I looked at that one at a red light and it turned green and I was still laughing. I almost hit somebody.
Bro.
My irresponsibility, but that was some funny shit.
And you know, the other thing, like, you know, with the curfews happening, I saw this where so there's a white guy holding this poster he made. It actually said there was no curfew for the white people protesting public health with AR-15s. But now we have curfews for people because they wanted to make sure that rioting and looting was happening. And also, I want to point out, and I'm going to post this on our Instagram because I downloaded everything, but I want to point out how when white people riot and loot, nothing happens to them anyway. When sports teams go and win a game, they fucking, remember San Antonio, D? When the Spurs would win, they fucking riot.
What happened in fucking Philadelphia?
Yes. Or lose. If they lose or win, it didn't matter.
Win or lose, either way. That shit is up in fucking flames.
Man. So, like, I know people are thinking that this is going to be a race war and stuff. My humble opinion, because I know a lot of people think it's a race war. I really think it's just going to be a good to evil, because I'm looking at videos of cops of all colors. Well, I really meant what I said. Once you turn blue, you blue. Unless you wake up and get off the force, I think you're going to stay blue.
Did you see that one video of that black lady though?
I sure did.
Tripping.
She
and that black lady was not having that shit. She was like, "Get your ass the fuck back."
Yeah, I know.
You can't come in that way either for anybody that's even thinking that, because we in no way, shape, or form think everybody who's a cop.
No. But I will say this, okay? Just like the cops are like, well, I have to protect my life too because I don't know which one of the black people are thugs with a gun. Well, I don't know which one of you motherfucking cops is the good cop or the bad cop. And it looks like
all of y'all got guns.
And looks like to me, y'all are all armed. None of the good cops have been standing up to say this bad cop, he did this. He fucking killed somebody, turned his ass in. So to me, y'all are in the same boat. It's the same sea, different boat, but in the same fucking waters. Yep. That's what it is. Like, if you're not gonna turn in a bad cop, then what the fuck is you good for? For what? Like, what you doing there? Because you don't want to get caught up in the business? Then you shouldn't have been applying to be a cop. You scared of black people just because we black? Why did you become a cop? Because that's not the reason they became a cop. That's why. If you became a cop to do good and change the fucking world, you would not be pulling a gun for a traffic stop. You meant to pull that gun from your fucking holster, and you knew you were pulling over a black person.
It was something personal. So at the end of the day, when I think a lot of that brutality comes from, they taking shit personal. So now when you was on that man's neck, that shit was personal, because I'm sure that shit's not in the
you heard him and him work at the same club?
You see what I'm saying? That shit was personal.
You know that?
Very personal. A lot of that shit. Like how they shot, what's his name, in New York, all them 41 times.
Right, that was
41
for
rounds.
What? And the
because
back
that
too?
shit was personal.
That's what I'm saying.
You had a sentiment towards somebody who looks like that. That shit was personal.
George,
and you, as a professional, should know the difference between personal and fucking professional.
They can't.
Keep that shit at home. You were hired to do a fucking job.
Dude.
Do that shit the right way.
Their training, their hours of training is less than what a barber has to go through to get a certificate to cut hair. Less hours than cutting hair. If I want to become a barber, I have to go to training longer than a cop has to get my fucking certificate.
Well, you know what? That doesn't even matter in that sense of what we're talking about. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I could be a cop tomorrow and do like the 4 hours of online training to do a cop.
4 hours.
I would still be better at protecting and serving.
Absolutely. And it's a mental situation.
It is.
Inherently, I'm not racist or prejudiced. So it doesn't matter if y'all had 6 months of training, 6 years. No, the problem.
You're still that same fucking person.
Yeah. Hours you're trained to be a cop, because we're not going to do a tutorial on you on how not to be fucking racist.
Listen,
that's what we don't need.
I know people don't go diving into history because it's fun like I do. I really do think history and learning about this shit is fun. So I don't even watch TV. I just be researching because that's the kind of person I am. But if you didn't know, police officers were first made back in the day to police Negroes. That's why they were made to begin with. It was not to serve and protect the fucking citizens. The police officers were made back in the day so that they could go and hunt down slaves that were running away. It was not for the protection of the town.
It's definitely still that way now.
The only person who was supposed to be like in charge of protecting the town, I don't know if you guys watch like old westerns, there's like one sheriff and his little partner.
Yeah, the sheriff and the deputy.
That was it. Sheriff and deputy. That was it for the town because the towns were so small. So when they started getting slaves that would be runaway slaves, they started needing people to control that. And that's how police officers began. And I'm not getting into it. That could be a whole nother episode. But if you learn about the history of their badge, the design, and what the insignia and all this, it makes so much sense. It really does. Like
And then if you go further, well, not further than that, but when you fast forward to why people always want to talk about, gangs and thugs and this and that.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Gangs were created to protect our people.
Yes.
Like to police the police so we could actually feel safe in our own goddamn neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Not because we just wanted Crips and Bloods and West Coast, East Coast and all that shit.
I mean, like.
All started off of Alameda Street in Los Angeles. Look that shit up.
You know, somebody was talking about the movie A Time to Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just happened to play it on. They just played it on one of the Japanese channels for free, and Japanese people got a hold of that movie this week, and it happened to be, I don't know if it was on purpose, but it happened to be during the protest in Japan as well, and people are on TikTok and Twitter in Japan talking about A Time to Kill, because a lot of people have never seen that movie and they just watched it.
Happen like real time, like now. It's just like,
I'm okay with that. Listen, if Martin Luther King's speech of the other America, because there are two Americas here, if his speech of the other America is still relevant in 2020 as it is in 1968, then we have a problem that needs to be solved. A serious problem. If my dad, being in a segregated military, didn't like
also segregated squadron, right?
Dude, Tuskegee Airmen Squadron, 442nd or 422nd, one or the other. I'm sorry, I forget. It's been a while. But same squadron. Like, how, the Red Tails. Like, how? How is that possible? People think that Red Tails, when the movie came out, they're like, oh, that's so back in the day. No, my dad was there. Like, he used to go to those little Tuskegee Airmen events in Okinawa. They would call him and he'd go talk in front of people about it sometimes. I remember. Like, it's just so batshit crazy to me. And hopefully something good will come out of this. Hopefully, I agree with Brandy. I feel like this one's going to be different. I don't know if it's because we want it to be so different or if it actually is different.
It feels different.
It feels different. The fact that a lot of Black folks are not watching the videos as much as they did, like all three of us were like, we're not gonna watch it, right? So that tells me something as well.
Probably more than a lot of people of color.
I know.
These white people are getting more involved than what they have been before. Mm-hmm. That's when stuff starts to feel different, because it's like, okay, so we can finally feel heard when we actually have white allies coming up, because it don't seem like y'all hear us, or y'all hear us but y'all don't give a fuck.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't know. Any last words before we wrap it up real quick? 30 seconds apiece if you want. Anybody?
Stay safe. If you go protest, be safe. Stay safe and just avoid any police contact. If you see them from a distance telling you to go away, get out of there. Yeah. Don't put yourself in harm's way.
Because listen, I just want to add to that people are getting kidnapped at these protests. The traffickers are out and about. I just got another Amber Alert today. Remember we talked about it last week or the week before that I was getting a whole bunch of Amber Alerts again because people are out and about. And like, this is me just talking because of all the things I've been like reading and shit. But like, I really think that every time a group of people had change come about, they had to be revolutionary and they had to make change happen, right? Mm-hmm. In the news right now, there's a whole bunch of Asian communities, like jewelry store owners, grocery store owners, that are protecting their own stores with guns and rifles and shit like that. And nobody's like taking a second look at them. They're like, well, they're doing what they have to do to protect their own businesses. So we were never allowed to do that as Black people, right? Mm-hmm. So that means that this is necessary, because the reason why the Asian communities are doing that already is because they already did the internment camp once here back in the day. And so they learned that even though they're Japanese Americans or Asian Americans, they learned that they still have to stand their own ground within their own community. And so if Black people don't realize that they have to rise up and do whatever, it's going to be a whole bunch of physical and mental fucking uprising gathering before people are able to make a change and difference that needs to happen. Because for the next generation, like, it's going to keep going. Like, how many generations ago was MLK? My dad being in Red Tails? Like, it's going to be a lot of prices to pay, a lot of sacrifices from a lot of people, but it's going to be a necessary part of the real change. I mean, you can't go without it. So the looting sucks. The fires suck that are happening to businesses. Businesses shutting down sucks. But at the same time, if we really believe that this is really necessary to make change happen, when this is all over, then we have to come together and rebuild our fucking neighborhoods. That's it. That's all we got.
That's it.
Yeah. Yep. Man, that's the quietest ending we've ever had.
And that's the scoop, motherfuckers. Make sure y'all come back next week. Because we'll be here.
Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be back with more shit, depending on what goes down, I guess. You know, CJ has to move her wedding to next year instead of just August now from June. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, if you have enjoyed our show thus far, make sure you subscribe to one of your favorite podcast platforms. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you get all of our new episodes every week. This episode will be on on Thursdays at noon. Is all the Triangl episodes, and all the News Angle episodes with our lowbrow news is Mondays at 9 a.m. Central. Look at all the signs that Dee is making. Anyways, stay blessed.
Like a flight attendant.
Oh my
God, yeah.
And the seatbelt buckle.
Oh my God, when they do the little and they blow up the little jacket if you don't pull on it. I've flown too many times, yo. I can do the whole thing probably. I can probably do the whole thing. I'm not even kidding. And then it does the belt and they like drop it. They're like, like it's so
yeah, they drop it.
Anyway, stay woke, stay blessed, stay logical, and stay safe. And POC and allies unite. That's gonna be my additional shit. Juneteenth is coming. We're gonna see y'all later. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.